Now let's discuss this further with constitutional law professor Muneeb Qadir, who joins us now live from Lahore. Let's take a look at the legal perspective and try to analyze what does the law say about today's proceedings in the Pakistani parliament. Muneeb, as I understand, according to the verdict of the Supreme Court, the vote of no confidence should take place today. So tell me, is it binding by law for the Speaker of the Parliament to hold the vote today?
Absolutely, because once the Supreme Court has determined and given a final ruling, it has determined what Article 95 says, whether it conflicts with Article 5 of the Constitution or not. And in the end, the move which was taken by the Deputy Speaker on 3rd April, that, the Parliament was dissolved and the vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister was not held, once that was declared to be unconstitutional by the Apex Court, by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, then the direction by the Supreme Court of Pakistan that in keeping with the Constitution, in keeping with the letter and spirit of our Constitution, the motion of no confidence, the vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister needs to be held on 9th April. It means that it needs to be held today. And if it doesn't, then the opposition and dissident MNAs, they are going to be, and it will be well within their rights, to file a petition in the Supreme Court for contempt of court against not just the government, but also the Speaker himself.
Muneeb, are there any possible legal grounds that the government can use to delay today's vote?
Again, they are going to resort to Article 5 primarily, and also Article 69. So I will need to elaborate on what these two say. Article 5 was the one which was cited on 3rd April by the Deputy Speaker when he decided not to go ahead with the vote of no confidence, because Article 5 binds every citizen of Pakistan to being loyal to the state. And because Imran Khan has been saying that there's a letter which contains evidence of there being foreign conspiracy at the hands of the United States of America, that they want to topple the government. So going ahead with the vote of no confidence is going to result in a violation of Article 5, because then you would be entertaining those who are not loyal to the state of Pakistan. But then the problem with that ruling is that Article 95 of the Constitution is very clear that if at least a 20% quantum of MNAs has been met, that at least 20% of MNAs have passed a resolution seeking the vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister, then that vote will be held and has to be held, and there are no exceptions to it. So if we are to just sit back and take the Deputy Speaker, what he said on 3rd April at his word, then what he meant to say was that the Constitution is potentially self-contradictory. But the whole concept and belief behind our Constitution is that it is not contradictory. It cannot contradict itself. So you cannot be in breach of Article 5 whilst upholding Article 95. And that was the basis on which the Supreme Court this week ruled that what the Deputy Speaker had decided on 3rd April was unlawful, was unconstitutional. And the direction was that the vote of no confidence shall take place on 9th April 2022, sans any exceptions.
Then why do you think the government is so keen on delaying this vote? At least it appears at this point that the government wants this vote to take place at another day. Muneeb, are there any loopholes within the Constitution of Pakistan on which the government could possibly capitalize on?
So I've just said that I believe that the Constitution is seamless. The Constitution does not have any loopholes. It's a consistent whole. And one part of the Constitution cannot contradict another part of the Constitution. In a nutshell, you cannot be saying that the Constitution is pulling us in different directions. But what the government or the opposition would want to do is they would want to bring such interpretation to the Constitution that would suit their narratives. But to an observer of the Constitution, to a reader of the constitutional law, to a constitutional lawyer, what the Constitution really says is what matters the most. And so the government is going to try to rely on Article 69. Now, Article 69 says that parliamentary proceedings are exempt from the court's jurisdiction, which means that the courts do not have jurisdiction over matters pertaining to parliamentary proceedings, or what happens in the parliament and what happens on the floor of the parliament. But not many people realize that Article 69 relates to any procedural irregularity within the Houses of Parliament. That is not amenable to the court's jurisdiction. That is not a justiciable matter. But if you are trampling upon constitutional law itself, upon rule of law, upon the supremacy of constitution and parliamentary sovereignty, all legal doctrines, all parts of our
Right.
law, then over such legal matters, the courts do have jurisdiction indeed.
Muneeb, now, in one of your earlier responses, you had said that it's binding by law for the Speaker of the Parliament to hold the vote today. Assuming the vote does not take place today, what would be the consequences for, number one, the Speaker of the Parliament, number two, the government of Prime Minister Imran Khan?
The consequences would be, like I said, that those in the opposition would be well within their right to seek an action for contempt of court, and that is going to be most unfortunate because opposition and the government, primarily the government, have been saying that the judiciary should keep away from political matters. But they themselves would then be dragging the judiciary into what they deem to be or term as political matters. Because the thing is that if the vote of no confidence is held in accordance with Article 95 of the Constitution, which has again been confirmed by the Supreme Court, then there would be no need to go to the courts or to have resort to the judiciary any longer. So who is dragging the judiciary? So the repercussions are going to be severe. It will set a very bad precedent, and also then the current government would be exposing itself to not only proceedings under Article 6 of the Constitution, which again is something that the opposition has been relying upon, but also contempt of court proceedings. So the expectation is that within 15 minutes from now, 7:30 p.m. Pakistani time today, the vote of no confidence shall take place. But if there are any delay tactics that the government tries to resort to, then that is not going to have any good consequences. That will only going to expand the legal drama and the political drama that we've been seeing unfolding since the last few weeks.
All right, Muneeb Qadir, live for us from Lahore. Thank you very much indeed, Muneeb.
Thank you.